This is the JFJ Conspiracy, where the shop talk is rock.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Gentlemen, April Fool's Day we're recording this.
Yes, we are.
You have any hijinks going on today at all?
Yeah, we were going to have Led Zeppelin call in, but they canceled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nice try. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I think their joke was on us.
It
So yeah,
probably
we'll call
was,
you guys on April 1st.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You're a new podcast? Okay, yeah, we'll call you. We'll call you. Yeah.
I didn't catch on to it. So it is.
We should have known.
We should have known.
Like us. Yeah, we should have known.
I sent him a sticker. I don't know.
I saw Robert.
We got to
Plant
send them
displaying
some
it.
buttons.
Yeah, they
Robert
need the
Plant
buttons.
yeah.
Hey, real quickly, we have the T-shirts, the new T-shirts on Store Frontier. That's one of them back there that Jerry's got. We now have women in kid sizes on different designs. And you listeners, if you like something and it's not in the style of shirt you like, let us know, and we'll switch some stuff around. It's all kind of in the infancy stage. But all we're doing is a little bit of money we make is just go into advertising and maybe pay some of these big rockers off to come on the show. You never know.
Yeah. Good stuff, folks, though. Got my shirt. I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Gildan.
Several designs. Yeah, different designs. Gildan, of course, cotton. Wonderful. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, guys, what I want to talk about first this week is on Friday, it was announced that tickets went on sale for Judas Priest locally here in Ontario, California at the Citizens Bank Arena.
Oh. now
Opening
that-
act is Uriah Heep.
Wow.
And I just read before we started doing the podcast that
Uriah Heep.
they're planning on doing 8 or 9 songs that they have yet to do on this tour. They're kicking new songs. They've been doing Killing Machine and some of the older, deeper cuts.
Cool. Very cool.
But here's my
Heck
question
yeah.
to you. We have Ian Hill, who is a founding member of Judas Priest. We have Rob Halford, who is the voice, the metal god himself. And then from there, we kind of drop down a tier. We got Scott Travis on drums, who's been there for 25 years or whatever. But,
Yeah.
you know, he is a definite sound of Judas Priest. And then we have Richie Faulkner and their producer, Andy Sneed. Now, this is my thing that I have issues with. Richie Faulkner looks just like KK Downing. Matter of fact, when he stepped into his spot, a lot of people didn't even know there was a change.
Wow.
Even
Does
though
he
there
play
was-
the V, Frank? Does he play the
plays the
flying
V.
V?
I can't confirm or deny. I just know he has the long blonde hair, was wearing the vest,
Yeah.
and Jim just fell down. You okay? Oh, there he is.
Just fell down.
I look like you fell out of your chair there.
Well, the whole Judas Priest thing just threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
And then Andy Sneed is their producer. He produced their last album, Firepower.
Right.
And this guy's in a bunch of bands. He is a guitarist extraordinaire.
Okay, well, that's the key. Okay.
Yeah, but he is not Glenn Tipton or KK Downing. And what kind of gets under my skin a little bit right now, I guess, and I can't, haven't seen them yet, but I guess the guy that looks like KK Downing is playing Glenn Tipton's parts, and the guy that looks like Andy Sneed is playing KK Downing's parts. So, as a longtime Priest fan, would that throw you off?
Yeah, it's a little odd, right? When I saw the tickets going on sale, though, I was thinking, why not? Why not go see him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still kicking it around. I'd love to see him again.
I probably would too. You guys are way more priesty than I was. So, I understand the lineups, and I'd love to Tipton and KK, the lead exchanges. I used to love it. I love it. But one of the reasons, Frank and Jim, the place is so close to us.
It's hard not to go.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you got Rob Halford coming out on the Harley and putting the microphone in the exhaust pipe and just one, that just puts you in the mood. And if the other cats can keep up, so be it.
Yeah.
I would go.
Now, what's kind of nice, as we know, Glenn Tipton has Parkinson's disease.
Right.
But he has been coming out from time to time during the encores.
I saw that, Frank. It was beautiful.
And that would be the price of admission for me.
Absolutely.
To see Glenn again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I read KK Downing's book. He kind of, badmouthed all of them. He pretty much, without saying it, he blamed Glenn Tipton for all the bad things that happened in Judas Priest.
Of course.
Because, he's trying to sell books.
Right.
Sure.
So, and then he was upset they didn't ask him to come back in the band after Glenn stepped down. And, dude, you retired.
He was golfing, right?
Right. Said he was leaving.
Yes.
I'm done.
Yeah. He had a golf resort and was losing money doing that. So,
hand over fist, evidently.
Yeah, apparently so.
He sold off the rights to his songs to try to recoup some of his debt, I think.
Oh, Lord. Don't ever sell that stuff off. Yeah.
So my question, though, is, okay, does that hinder your thoughts about going? Apparently it doesn't, because it is Judas Priest. But at what point, and we've talked about another band when the replacement members were characters. It's a little different. They're in paint and costumes.
Right.
So, but at what point is it just a cover band, or is it karaoke? If it's not the original members and it's the singer, then the spirit of the band is still there.
Mm-hmm.
But how long has KK been gone?
I couldn't even tell you. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. And the thing with Glenn is just unfortunate.
Yes.
It is. It is.
He's a guitar monster himself. This guy can play. So it's fairly sad.
If you got Rob Halford singing and the two guitar guys can keep up, you still have your vintage drummer and bass player, I would go, but them other two cats better keep up.
Well,
I don't think there's any issue with those guys.
I bet there isn't.
Both
I bet there isn't.
Fantastic players.
To
me, it's still Priest.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was wanting to know. You know, I at first was wavering whether or not I wanted to go, because again, I loved KK and Glenn. I love that guitar duo, and I saw them. The last time I saw them was at I think it's the Microsoft Theater, and all I remember saying is, KK, put your shirt back on. Put your shirt on.
There's nothing worse than that.
No,
I know what you're saying.
Look like a jar of mayonnaise playing guitar. Put your shirt on.
Oh, man.
So, but the music was awesome.
Right.
Right. But that was 25 years ago.
On,
So.
But Frank, I think Priest was like maybe the third or fourth concert I ever went to. It was when we saw him on the British Steel tour.
Right.
Oh.
So I still have great memories of that, and Downing and Tipton were a big part of that show.
Yes.
But I still feel like it's Priest. I'm seriously thinking about dropping some coin and going.
Well, tickets start at $49.50 for the nosebleeds, and my biggest problem with the Citizens Bank Arena is that the seats are tight. It is
anywhere's
compact.
that way anymore, though.
Almost anywhere. Cindy and I went and saw Def Leppard, and unfortunately, we had a 300-plus pound guy standing next to us where he didn't need to, because we were in the first risers and you could see fine, but he decided to stand up, and he came right from work, didn't shower, and apparently had a bad lunch because he was passing gas the whole concert.
Oh, nice.
And we actually left early. It was that bad.
He should have poured some sugar on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ba-dum-bum.
Rim shot.
Yeah. Oh, I need to get some sound effects in here, apparently.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the rim shot, the spring sound. Yeah.
So that was our last experience at Citizens Bank Arena. And,
that's a bummer.
But they have floor seats for $99, but then you're going to stand the whole night,
Sure.
But, you're sitting on a hard chair, and you don't have to worry about people passing you back and forth, because there's no way at Citizens Bank Arena you can sit down and someone getting up to go get a beer or something. You have to stand up. You have to.
That is tight, then, Frank. That is tight.
Yeah. But that's almost anywhere. We were at the Pond, and it was the same way. But this just seemed a little more compact, and it's a hockey arena. You know, they play the Kings Farm Club plays there. So.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a thought. It's one of those things we're going to flip a coin and decide if we're going to go or not.
When is it, Frank?
Yeah.
When is
August sometime.
Oh, summer.
Yeah. And it's right around the corner.
Think about it, guys.
Yeah. I'll look that up, and I'll put a little graphic on the deal.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, I'm surprised. I really thought maybe you guys would be a little more hesitant, because here we have guys who are not the original members. And again, at our age and their age, there's not many bands with original members in it anyways.
No,
right.
The thing is, Frank, you're a lot more discreet as far as I mean, if I would go there, I would have a good time. I would not catch the fact, hey, wait a minute, why is he playing Tipton's part? I wouldn't catch it. If they delivered and Rob is on, oh boy, I think I would dig that. I think your knowledge is, is self-defeating sometimes. It's
but you know what?
Man.
Remember listening to the records, and what was cool about Judas Priest is they said, first solo break, KK down. Second solo break, Glenn Tipton.
Right.
And you waited for it.
Right.
And so then we went and saw them live. You were waiting for that, and they did it to a T. I mean, they were...
Now I understand. I understand. Yeah.
So now I'd be looking stage left for KK to start, and then over here is Andy Sneed playing it.
I got to look the other way.
Yeah, it's going to throw me all off.
I'd like to go.
Cool.
I don't
know how much longer they're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
I can't see too much more.
Right.
Rob had hip replacement surgery, I guess. He's a few years ago, he was walking with a cane.
Yep.
So
all our bands from the day, guys, everybody's just like us, getting older.
Yeah. It's
older. Huh?
It's the way it works.
Yeah, I have no idea, but how many guys are left in Uriah Heep?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, when you said that, Frank, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I think the Gypsy Queen passed on too, so I don't know. I just they had a handful of good tunes, but
sure,
wow.
I wouldn't know any of them. I never followed them that much, and I think they opened for them one time. I don't know if it was, we saw them with Savoy Brown, I think.
Yes, once
Long Beach, and then I think
that was a Point of Entry tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're good English buddies touring around together.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, but Uriah Heep's been around longer than Priest.
I think so.
Oh yeah. I think you're right, Jim. Yeah. Good 5 years at least, I would think. Just going back at my bean counter. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on and check out some new music. How about that, guys?
Yes.
Sounds
groovy.
Jim, why don't you start this week with your pick?
Okay. So I've got a band that's been around a long time, and a band that has been on a few different independent labels. They started out on Lookout. It's the Dollyrots. They've been around for 18 years now. Yeah. Kelly Ogden, Luis Cabezas, husband and wife duo. Started out as doing it kind of just for fun, became an actual band kind of full-time in 2001. Signed to Lookout, played Warped Tour, got seen by Joan Jett, and Joan signed them, and they put out two records on her Blackheart label. And then after that, they decided to go it alone. They've been DIY ever since. They're completely fan-funded. I've been a fan of them. The first time I heard them was the You're Awesome on Indie 103.1, another brilliant, now defunct radio station here in LA.
Right.
Where Jonesy's Jukebox got its start.
Jonesy's Jukebox
is on 103.1. Anyway, so they've been doing it on their own ever since. They've got a new album coming out, and I think this is the second single off the new album. New album's not released yet, coming out soon.
All right.
But here it is. The new song's called Everything.
Well, here is the Dollyrots with Everything.
Hey, can I make a promise? Easy to make to you. Can I just be honest? Give you the damn truth. I gotta tell you now. I gotta get it out. I'm counting up and down, counting on you. I'll go with you to your favorite shows. Call you pet names no one knows. Scratch your back when you can't reach, and hold you when you fall asleep. If you show up late, I'll take the blame, and drive you home in the pouring rain. Hold your hand when we get old. I'll give you everything, everything, everything. I'll give you everything, everything, everything. Hey, can I whisper something? Whisper sweet nothings to the one I'm wanting. Guess what? It's you. I gotta shout it out. I gotta make it count. I'm counting up and down, counting on you. I'll go with you to your favorite shows. Call you pet names no one knows. Scratch your back when you can't reach, and hold you when you fall asleep. If you show up late, I'll take the blame, and drive you home in the pouring rain. Hold your hand when we get old. I'll give you everything, everything, everything. I'll give you everything.
All right, that's the Dollyrots
Good
with
stuff,
Everything.
Jim.
Yeah, pop punk.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I love about these guys is when you order stuff from them, and I've ordered stuff from them in the past. So you buy the album, generally $20 for the vinyl, colored vinyl, generally speaking. Want it signed? Want it personalized? $5.
Right. Cool.
Not like these guys who charge you $30 to sign a record.
And then have a
right?
stamp with their signature.
Yeah.
I'm Jimmy Page. I'm Jimmy Page. I'm Jimmy Page.
I think he only does that for his books. But
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Now that's cool that
That's super
they'll
cool.
personalize like that.
Yeah.
yeah, just tell them what you want it to say, who you wanted to sign it to, whatever. But
Wonderful stuff.
obviously, good attitude.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, completely crowdsourced, and
I love that sound, Jim. Very raw. Very good.
yeah, they're great.
Good stuff.
Great band.
They produce their own albums, or do they have?
Yep.
Okay. Very nice. I like the sound. Love the guitars, and of course, because it came from you, it had a female singer.
Uh-huh. And under 3 minutes, I'm guessing,
It was
Frank, that's
just
not-
over 3 minutes. It's like 3:09
You're kidding.
or something.
Probably
like
just a couple ticks over.
Oh, boy. Our Jim is slipping. But for
Yeah.
good stuff like that, hey, slip.
I'm going to go back now and see how many bands I've had with female singers versus male singers.
Well, you can just technically go back and say every podcast.
This
Probably that be safe.
This is episode 13, so I would guess 12.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've already got a band lined up for next time,
Uh-huh.
and it's guy
And
singer.
what's
so
her name? The lead
Yeah.
singer. What's her name?
That's all right.
You're gonna have to wait and find out.
No, it's good stuff. Yeah. Oh,
when
good
you
rock,
have a
good rock.
style of music that you like, you run with it. There's nothing wrong with
That's
that.
it.
Nothing wrong with
That's it.
that.
Nothing wrong.
I've just been pegged with it, and I'm not sure it's 100% fair, but that's all right.
You do the research and let us know.
I will. I'm going to go back and look.
11 out of 13 or 12.
I'm interested in
we
finding
don't
out.
want to
for my
peg
own
you. No,
sake.
we don't want to peg you.
Well, real
love
quickly, what I want to do is I want to correct myself because I made a joke and it went flat with you guys, and I figured out why. We were talking about Uriah Heep, and I said, probably the Gypsy Queen is dead, but that was April Wine. That's why it was not Uriah Heep.
You know what's funny about that? I was all
when you
like,
said that.
I know the April Wine song. I'm not,
Hey,
not
they
sure
blend
I
together.
remember a Uriah Heep
Wait,
song that was
wait a
Gypsy
minute.
Queen.
Those mid-card British bands, rock bands, they run together to me. And I actually
Except April Wine's Canadian.
are they?
Yep.
See, so
Well, it's like wearing a kilt. It's like wearing a kilt in Scotland or Ireland.
Yeah.
Sometimes you cross modulate. That's all. We knew what you meant, Frank. No, but when you said Gypsy Queen, I was like, well, okay.
So now we know 100%. I don't know what the hell I'm
Nature of
talking
the
about.
beast.
That's fine.
How you do, Frank? How you do?
Hey, just
Got
let you
stuff
know
good.
that I'm not sitting there looking at Wikipedia while we're doing this podcast. You know, I'm going off the top of my head, and obviously that portion of my head has been.
It's funny when you said
Had some
Gypsy
issues.
Queen, I automatically thought April Wine.
So did
too.
I,
was
Jim.
like, oh,
So did I, Jim.
I must have missed the Uriah Heep
Yeah.
single
Well,
that was Gypsy Queen.
That's exactly what I thought. I go, he's talking about April Wine, but no, he's on Uriah Heep. Maybe
Yeah.
they had a song called Gypsy.
You guys got to check me, man, because
Well,
you know,
okay.
getting old. Getting old.
Gypsy Queen is April Wine, dude.
Better. Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Not
I
to
wore
take
that
away from the
album
Dolly
out, too.
Routes.
Not to take away from the Dolly
No,
Routes.
Right.
but
Oh,
they've got
sorry.
stuff. Their music is available just about everywhere. Also, you can get a digital download and everything.
iTunes. If you order direct from them, you can usually get the vinyl.
I'd rather do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, and have
Yeah.
it signed. Yep.
And that new single is a kind of an orangey yellow splatter clear vinyl, cool looking thing. I'm going to order it as soon as we are
We're done
finished
here,
with the podcast
All
tonight.
right. Speaking of, I don't have it handy, but I did get my Brutalist album in the mail the other day.
Oh, cool.
It's screen printed on the front of it. It's really nice. One of 300. So,
Ooh,
you know.
you did it.
I did it. I like to support the acts that we
Yes.
put on
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So.
I buy the ones that we review. I buy. Heck yeah.
So.
Let's keep them going. Yeah.
All right, and then Jerry, you've got a band for us this week, and tell us about them, will you?
Out of New Orleans, Louisiana. It's not Louisiana, folks. It's Louisiana, and they're called Green Gasoline, and it's great rock and roll. We've got Dylan Hamard on guitars, John Costeau on drums, Logan Lays on bass and vocals, and rock and vocals, guys. And then Daniil joined them later after their initial EP from 2016. They have an album out, it's about a year old, called Unleaded.
All right.
And they just it's good. Their saying is driving passionate, insane thirst for the rock of old funk punk metal. And it's good stuff. The vocalist Logan reminds me of Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, but better, if I may.
Oh.
Not so, a lot more rich, a lot deep. He can hit the high notes, but it doesn't sound thin. Great harmonies, great song work, great leads. They have a song called Electric Bandana. That's an instrumental. If you want to really get the feel for what they're about, listen to that. It's on the album Unleaded. And they're just rocking good. It's a rocking good band. It's good stuff. It's stuff I like. I think you guys will like it. All the folks out there in Conspiracy Land, when you're kind of like me before we started this endeavor, you think, well, there's no good music out there anymore. You know, stuff's too commercial. Stuff I hear, there's tons of music out there, folks. Tons of it. Get on Bandcamp. Get on Reverb. Get on YouTube. These guys, they're not on Twitter. They're not on Reverb, but a lot of stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Green Gasoline. And they just, it makes me have faith in rock and roll again, folks. It's just like the Dollyrots, Jim, you just played. That's heavy rock and stuff to me. And it just gives me faith in the genre. It gives me faith. There's lots of good stuff out there, folks. Look it up on Bandcamp, Spotify. They're out there. You can look under new artists. You can look under indie. But there's good bands out there. Their last tours were a bit ago in New Orleans, locally. But I signed up. So whenever they have something close, they'll notify me. Again, Green Gasoline. The album is Unleaded.
All right, we're going to play the song Unleaded from that album. And I want to say the media has given us a skewed version of rock and roll right now because not every band has to be Greta Van Zeppelin, okay? So there are plenty of
Frank
good,
hates him, Jim. I
hard
swear
rocking
Frank hates
bands.
him. What's funny, Frank, you mentioned that. Let me cut in since you said that. I went to a Twitter comment that was a year old about Green Gasoline. And the woman on it said, F. Greta Van Fleet. Green
Right.
gasoline is the way to go.
He's
So
in the
it's
bomb
funny.
diggity.
It's funny you said that, Frank. It's funny you said that. Yes, she was like, "Nah, green gasoline's the way to go."
Well, that's
No, that was one of their moms.
yeah.
Probably.
It could be. Yeah.
Let's give it a
It
listen.
could
This
be.
is Unleaded from
do
Green
it.
Gasoline.
Living in the city, and I like the speed. Get what you want when you want, and you know what I mean. You can't control all the things that you do. I don't ever wanna be mean to you, so we don't see eye to eye. I don't feel the need to complain, and you feel it by yourself. Yeah, so we don't see eye to eye. I don't feel the need to complain, and you feel it by yourself. So we don't see eye to eye, and still be there. We don't see eye to eye, and still be there.
Okay.
Woo!
I didn't want that to end.
I didn't either.
No.
And before I say any more, we've been asked several times via email and whatnot on why don't we play the whole song? Why are you guys so stingy with the music? And the whole deal is we just want you to get a taste of how awesome this stuff is. Now you go explore, you go buy it, you support the band, and do your part.
Yes.
That's what we want. And
Absolutely.
just in case there's some copyright issues or whatever, we don't want to be involved in that.
Nope.
So,
But we do it out there, folks, too. We get a hold of a band that gets back to us, and you get involved in their stuff, and you realize how good it is. And so we support them, too. Folks.
Absolutely.
Frank bought the album. My main venue is iTunes, so I get a lot of the stuff from iTunes. Jim might be vinyl or Spotify or Bandcamp, but get out there and support them, folks. I mean, there's good rock and roll bands out there still, and I love it.
Now-
I'm glad we're doing this show. I love it.
I understood your Sebastian Bach reference.
Yeah.
I
I mean, just a
Totally
vibe.
heard it.
Yeah, I
Thank
heard
you,
it.
Jim. Yeah.
But you know what I also heard? I heard if Ted Nugent could actually sing.
Well, what's funny is
Yeah.
that sounded a little School of Fishy to me too. That riff that
Uh-huh.
was a little Teddy like, yeah, Uncle Ted. But it's just good stuff. And some of their tunes, the harmonies and they the leads, the rhythms keeping up, and he's just Green Gasoline Unleaded, folks. Get the album, get it. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. New Orleans, Louisiana.
Well, now our podcast doesn't do the music justice because that was recorded in stereo. You had hard pan, left and right guitars doing different things, and then when you listen to it on YouTube, it's all mono. And because we don't have a budget, people, we're on the cheap here.
We don't
That's our
have
budget.
a budget.
Yeah, that's our budget. Buy a T-shirt and we'll go stereo. You know.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you
Yes.
think, Jim? How'd you like them?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw the name at first, I really didn't know what to think. Green Gasoline.
Right.
Yeah.
And but as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, fantastic. I liked them a lot. I went there and listened to several songs.
Well, what was nice also is they had a good bio.
Yeah,
We often
they had
complain.
a good bio.
You got more than I did. Yeah.
They put out plenty of info about themselves and whatnot, and they got right back to us. They were happy to participate in the podcast, which we appreciate all the time.
Yes.
And I was surprised, where they were from. I just, I don't know, it just didn't add up. And then when I heard the music, I just loved it because it just
Why aren't they out here?
just rocks. I know. Why aren't they?
They should be
Why
right
aren't
out
they from
here.
L.A.?
They sound like a Hollywood sleaze band. They've got
Oh,
that.
Yes.
They've
That
got
was
that
good.
swagger to them.
But melodic at the same time. When they go into that
Great
chorus,
harmonies,
it's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, you guys, you got to check them out.
Yes, Green Gasoline.
Have we gushed enough?
Well, the only thing I would say, and just
Thanks,
is just
Frank. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
from a fan standpoint, is work on your logo. I was kind of, when I was thumbing through Bandcamp and I came across it, I thought of, you can't take these guys serious. They have a cartoon for an album cover. And almost had that punk look to it. And
Now
you
I
can't
got
judge a book
jelly.
by its cover. Green jelly, exactly. You cannot judge a book by its cover.
slime. It was slime.
Yeah. But
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the cover. Yeah. Well, if you're putting all your money into the music itself, go ahead and have a crappy logo.
I didn't say that. Jerry Oberg.
I know.
All mail
I know.
goes
I
to
know
Jerry
Frank,
Oberg.
40 some odd years.
Yes.
I know where he's headed. But if the music's that good, I don't care if it's in through the outdoor. If you've got it wrapped in a brown paper bag, I don't care.
My
That's
point is,
good
though,
rock.
JFJ show at gmail.com. Attention, Jerry Oberg.
Yeah, attention,
Right.
Jerry.
I know.
Logo up yours. It should
The
be the heading.
second J. It's the second J in the JFJ. Yeah.
No. My point was, as I was sifting through,
I'm
because
bringing up the rear.
there's so much on Bandcamp to look at
There is,
that
folks.
it's easy to pass something up if the cover doesn't at least grab your attention.
We
That's
still
true.
do that, don't we, guys? Look at the cover.
I do.
Remember the
That's
album's
true.
back. Oh yeah.
I look at the name. I look at the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a humble opinion from an old fart of a fan. That's all.
No, it's
Yeah.
good stuff. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. Good rocking stuff. I loved it. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, moving forward, I've got a song tonight from a band. They're called Shadow and the Thrill. And if you're not familiar with them, it's Tony Cardenas Montana, who is
Anthony. Oh, no wonder
Anthony.
I've heard of that.
uh-huh. He's from Great White fame, played bass with him, toured the globe a couple of times with him. Went out on his own, did a solo album called Tombstone Shuffle that I suggest you find it and download it. Great rockin' music.
Yes, it is. I forgot about that.
But he's got an album with Shadow and the Thrill coming out called Sugar Bowl. It should be out in a month or two. Keep an eye out. Their first single, which is the song we're going to play, is called Misery. And I'm not going to get too much into the details of the band, only because Anthony said he's going to come on the podcast and do an interview.
Nice.
Oh, right
So-
on, Anthony. Thank you.
I'm going to have to hold him to it.
Bitchin'.
Yeah, I'll have to hold him to it. But
Absolutely.
the main recording of the
Well
band was
done.
himself and Brent Arcement, who plays drums and keyboards. This guy is just a beast. These two together are two of the most talented gentlemen you'll ever hear. They're multi-instrumentalists. Anthony can sing. And I even read an article one time where Jack Russell said, if ever there was a true replacement that should take his place, it should be Anthony.
High praise
Oh.
indeed.
Yeah.
High praise
Interesting.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that is interesting.
so-
Wow.
And, he still plays with Jack Russell's Great White.
Great
They-
White.
They play locally, and they tour all over the United States. And this is his side project, and it's gaining some steam right now. So we're going to do our part to try to help him out.
Absolutely.
And the song is called Misery.
Here she come. Oh, my misery. And she don't love.
Nice.
This was recorded in all places, Nolans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony knows.
Yeah, I guess majority of the album was recorded back there. I know the song was, but
Rockin'.
slick,
Very
well-produced
slick.
rock and roll. That's Anthony playing all guitars, the slide, the harmonica, you name it, he's doing it. Brent's over there hitting the drums and the keyboards. And they've been playing, like I say, around BK Live in Arizona and going up to, I think in Indiana. They're opening up for Sammy Hagar in the Circle.
Wow.
They just, I guess, this weekend opened for Vince Neil in Arizona. So they're really getting some traction. He's got,
Right.
one thing I will say, he's got a fan base that is very loyal to him.
Well, should be.
That goes to say a lot about him because
It does.
he's very interactive with his fans.
Yeah.
So really
Awesome.
cool. Yeah. What'd you think of that, Jerry?
I loved it. Good rockin' stuff. Good rockin' stuff. I heard that harmonica come in. Woo. It was woo. Woo. Good stuff though. I like that harmonica sound. That high pitched, like a bluesy, I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
And that's my style, folks. I'm not as deep as Jim and Frank are the technical stuff, but I know what I like, and I like that. That was good stuff. Now let me forgive me if I'm ignorant. Is Anthony singing? Who's singing?
That's Anthony singing.
That's Anthony.
See now, guys, I understand him as the bass player for Great White.
Right.
So to hear that, he's on his way. That's good stuff, Anthony. Sorry about that. Sorry.
I don't want
That's
to
good stuff.
name drop too
That's
much.
good stuff.
But way back 30 plus years ago,
Yeah.
Greg Lube, who's basically, along with Anthony, my brother from another mother, because
Right.
I met him, I met Anthony through Greg, and he says, hey,
Same
you want to
here.
go see Anthony play? He was in a band called Naked Steel, and we went down to the Ice House, and I'd only been to the
wow.
Ice House for comedy.
Little Tokyo I saw
Yeah.
there. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
And we went down there and checked him out. That's when I first actually met him and started hanging out here and there. And nothing major, but the kid's got talent. He was playing guitar and singing back then, and
He's loaded.
yeah. He's just
That's
got
good
talent
stuff.
upon talent. One of those people that can do it all. Also, I want you to check out a band he did an album with called 2200. It's an Australian band. And they recorded an album, and they actually asked him to do vocals, so he sings on that. Killer rock and roll. Highly recommend it. I wish they did more music with Anthony, because it was some good, strong rock and roll.
Wow. That is.
What'd you think of Misery, Jim?
Loved it. Good bluesy hard rock. I didn't realize it was him singing off the bat.
Neither did I.
So when you said, Jack said he could be his replacement, and as soon as the vocals I kicked in, I thought,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he's a Thin Lizzy fan.
Big time.
Which,
Big time.
he's all right in my book.
Yeah, he covers the Cowboy song on his solo album.
Covers the Cowboy song.
Tombstone Shuffle. So check it out. Yeah.
Good version.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
And thank you, Greg Lube. That's how I met Anthony also back in the day.
That's it.
Thanks, Greg.
Matter of fact, I think we have to have Greg help Anthony with the Skype because he's about as technically advanced as you, Jerry. So,
If he's anywhere close to me, Greg, get over there and help him.
so once that
Yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
we'll get an interview going and have a chat with Anthony.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Since everybody is, hey, shout out to Greg.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Greg Lube.
And he
our
listens
pal.
to every episode, guys.
Bless
thumbs-
his heart.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Greg.
Bless his
thumbs up
heart.
to
Thank you,
Greg.
Greg. Yep.
So that was
Good
Misery
cat. Good
from
cat.
the
Yep.
upcoming album Sugar Bowl from Shadow and the
like
Thrill.
it. Shadow and the Thrill. I like it.
Anthony is the Shadow, and Brent is the Thrill. Go
Fortunately, they didn't stick with that Naked Steel name.
figure. Yeah.
Moved on from that.
That was a different name for a different time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was in the way
And,
back
and a different age.
I'm sure
Probably
back then they
sounds
sounded
great when you're
great.
17.
Uh-huh.
right?
I was gonna say back then I bet it sounded rocking.
Also-
Hey, Steel, yeah.
When you get some time and you're on the internet, look up Anna's Brother, and that's also Anthony's music, and he is Anna's brother. So, hence the name. Yeah. So
Anna and Anthony, well done.
yep. So anyways, check it out. I highly recommend
Oh, that's
all
good,
the
Frank.
music we presented
That's
tonight.
good.
Good stuff,
Good.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Frank. That was a treat.
Well,
That was.
moving forward, we did a little thing on Facebook where we put out a poll to let the listeners decide what classic album we would review on our next episode. And I want to state right now, I'm not giving up my spot. I'm just delaying it by a week. Okay? So next episode, we're going to have Combat Rock by The Clash. That's who the listeners decided they want us to review. Now, we'll talk about this, Jim. I know.
I was surprised. I was surprised that was the pick.
I was too. And Jerry, did you even vote?
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
I haven't been on stuff in a while. Sorry, guys. Yeah, like you said, I'm. Yeah.
Ask
You know
Laura.
what?
She'll tell you.
I will. Yeah. No, she covers. Yeah. Yeah. She covers everything and then some. I'm sure. I will. I'll ask her. That's
Well,
my wife, folks. Laura. Yeah.
We had some great write-ins. You know.
Oh, we did. And some stuff I want to get to.
Yes.
Somebody suggested Sweet Desolation Boulevard.
Great album.
Pet
ELO?
Sounds
Mhm.
jumped on there. ELO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some really good stuff.
Well, so to the listeners, thank you for participating. For you,
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. For those of you that voted for Combat Rock, shame on you. But we will.
I was wondering how long he could go, Jim, without dropping a scud. You know, Frank can only go.
No,
so
I think
far.
I think it's a great choice.
Hey,
Actually.
well, the thing is, if the fans pick it, you got to do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
There ain't no
I-
jibber jabber there.
Don't
Yeah.
own it. That means I got to go
Absolutely.
give it a listen, though.
How do
was
you
their-
really feel about Combat Rock by the Clash, Frank?
Well,
How
you
do you
know,
really feel about it?
That was their 5th album, and I was done with them by the time, those records
Wow,
came out. So,
wow. Isn't that what broke them, though?
yeah, pretty much.
Combat Rock is what broke them,
Their
right,
biggest selling,
Yeah,
biggest
because
selling,
Rockin' the Casbah and
most accessible
Should I
album.
stay?
Oh,
Yeah.
love that song. Great bass work in that too.
but we will
Top of
move
headroom.
forward and review that on the next episode. So that means I got to spend $9.99 on iTunes because I'm not going to bother with it on vinyl. That's for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
Frank, back off.
I've got it on vinyl.
Do you? Yeah, I was
Yeah, tell Jim what's up. Yeah.
never a
Yeah.
big Clash fan.
I think the only thing I don't have is Give 'Em Enough Rope. I think I've got the debut. I think I've got London Calling, Sandinista, and Combat Rock.
Sandinista was the one I was thinking about.
And then after that, nothing.
Well, let me ask you this: do you own any U2?
I own all of U2.
Wow.
I own none.
No, me either. Me either.
I like them, but
You like them? See, that's a huge band I could never listen to. That's
I
a
own
story for
none.
another time.
yes.
Yeah, I like them. They morphed into kind of something else. They became sort of an arena rock.
Yeah, remember they came in on when the
Yeah.
new wave hit. They came in on that kind of.
Well, they kind of got into a political voice there for a while.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't like that. I don't just.
I can
I'm
separate.
not a
Just
I'm
saying.
not a fan of Bono. Let me
Yeah.
just state that.
Yeah.
My thing is just
Kind of
sing,
up front.
sing it, dude.
Yeah.
When he used to, from the stage, he'd call the White House and try to talk to Reagan
Right.
and all that. And I was just like thinking, dude, go home and fix Ireland
Yeah.
before you start fixing the
Hi,
U.S.
is this Bono?
Yeah.
Well, there you
Well.
go again.
When people were still, blowing each other
Blowing
up over
people
there.
up. Yeah, the IRA.
PLO,
that was
IRA,
heavy
yeah.
duty stuff back in the day. Yeah, that was bad stuff. Bad stuff. Blowing up your own people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There I go.
Okay. That's enough bummer for one show. So
That's
let's.
right.
Yeah, let's move on.
My bummer alert is max.
Yikes.
Anyway, I think I own every U2 album.
Well done, Jim. I
Good
have
for you.
none.
That's
I have none. I hate to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Octung Baby I would get, or Joshua Tree, or their first one. Oh, their debut is good. I think I might have the debut on CD. Yeah.
wow. Well, that one was on my phone because it came with a phone.
Right.
And I never listened to it.
And people got angry about
Oh
it.
yeah, you're
Forcible
making
download.
Showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
They just downloaded on your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like that one bit.
So I will say this: Gail's a big U2 fan. That's why I own
Alright.
every U2 album.
I was gonna say now.
Sure.
Now we know why you have them all, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That helps.
Nothing wrong with that, folks.
But I don't hate them. I mean, I there's U2 songs I really enjoy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever. Let's move forward.
How do we get on to U2? What was that all about?
Well,
I like you too also. You too, Shaggy.
Did you lump them in with the Clash or?
yeah, they were a huge band. Like the Clash was pretty big, but those were bands that I never really got into.
Yeah.
It's especially Rockin' the Casbah and Should I Stay or Should I Go was catchy. But they had some deep lyrics every once in a while too that I didn't.
Yeah, very political. I
Yes.
think London Calling's a great song.
Yeah.
Train in Vain, love it.
Well, let's move forward to some non-political music. It's the classic album that Jerry picked, and it's the 1983 debut from Fast Eddie Clark and Pete Way and Dave King and some other guy. I don't remember who it is.
Jerry Shirley.
Shirley, there you
Go
go.
Jim. Drums.
Go Jim.
Yep.
The drummer from Spinal Tap, right?
Yeah.
Spinal Tap,
Fastway.
nothing. He was the drummer
He
from
was
Humble Pie.
Humble Pie, yeah.
Ooh.
Well done, Jim.
And it's Fastway. What an album! I think we were all surprised going back and listening to this album.
I'll admit it, guys. I forgot how great it is. I forgot. Well, I hate to say it, but yeah, man, wow.
Good stuff, huh? It starts off with that, all fired up, and it's hard driving from the very beginning, and cool riffs, and Fast Eddie Clark was a beast.
The Riff Meister. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the Riff album. This is good old riff rock and roll, Frank, right?
Yeah, I
Shaking
think
it.
so.
Yeah. Well, good riffs in this album.
Yeah.
Boy.
I enjoyed. What was it? Easy Living. Was that the debut song of the?
Yes,
it
that's
was.
Easy Living. I thought. Yeah, escaped me there for a second. Easy Living was such a radio friendly song, and it had a Zeppelin-esque kind of vibe to it. Reminds you of rock and roll a little bit. But the whole album was because of Dave King and the way he sang. But,
Good vocals.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And even this many years later, I think I appreciate the vocals now more than I did back then, to be honest with you.
Do you have a favorite song on that album, Jerry?
Mine is Feel Me, Touch Me, Do Anything You Want, the intro riff.
Uh-huh. And it goes throughout the song, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the second tune on the song or the album. Yeah, that one, that's my favorite. But, All I Need Is Your Love is a good tune. Another Day is a good tune. This whole album's chock full. Like I said, my venue is the AirPods and just getting quiet and listening. And I really forgot how good this album was, guys, to be honest with you. I forgot because vinyl on an old record player from 1984 don't compete with what you can hear today. Even though it's the same album, it's just they remaster stuff. They have better listening options, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this album again. Yes.
Did you have a least favorite song?
Maybe Heft. Maybe. I mean, I like all of it, but maybe Heft.
Right.
I like all of it, but maybe Heft. Maybe Heft.
Kind of non-committal there.
Right.
Yeah, because it's all good.
It's not a bad song.
No, it's not bad.
It's just not on the level of the rest of the album.
It's better than I remembered it.
Yes, I agree.
And when Jerry mentioned it, and I said, somebody said like, oh, it's not a bad cut on there. And you said, oh, well, what about Heft?
Yeah.
And it made me think for a second, oh, yeah, Heft. I don't know. But then when I went back and listened to it, I remembered what I really liked about that song. I mean, the lyrics it's a song of desperation. And I love that when it gets to that sort of pre-chorus or the chorus, the way the song switches gears. All of a sudden it like kind of kicks in and then drops back down and kicks in. And that was one of the things listening to the album again. It's just filled with so many great dynamics.
Yeah.
Wonderful dynamics and the drumming. Great dynamics in the drumming.
Good bass work too. Yep.
Oh,
Great everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pete Way, you can hear him all over the place. That's what I really enjoyed about it.
That dude's a bass player. Yes.
What was your favorite track, Jim?
Easy Living.
Easy Living. Okay.
First song I heard because it was track 1, side 1. Threw
Right.
that on.
That's the one that.
For my money, blows everything else in the album away because it's the only really kind of cooking song on the record. The rest of the record's pretty mid-tempo rock.
More grooves. Yeah.
Not as riffy as the other songs, but the minute I heard it, it was like Dave King. This is the second coming of Robert Plant.
Oh, great vocals.
Just loved it.
My
Just a
memories
little
of
skinny kid. Yeah.
seeing them on MTV was the first time I saw them. I heard Easy Living on the radio and went out and bought the album and thought, oh, these guys are awesome. And then I saw Dave King, and like I said, he was like 17 years old or something.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah.
Weighs 90 pounds, soaking wet.
Something.
Half of it is the weight of his hair.
Yeah, it's
Just a kid. Yeah.
just didn't fit his vocals, for that
No.
album.
No.
Such a strong voice.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over the top.
Not to take away from these guys, but the only other time that happened to me is when I saw Quiet Riot for the first time. And in my mind, I always pictured Kevin DeBrow to be this big, gnarly biker dude because he had such a strong vocal. He was screaming and yelling.
Very strong. vocals,
And then this pencil neck geek shows up with,
in his white spandex, his white and black striped spandex.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just, but once you got used to it, it was okay. But the initial visual of it was just off-putting for me. And that's how it was with Fastway. I saw, first of all, like I say, you got Dave King there and his little red hair and, 90 pounds soaking wet, and he's
Absolutely,
singing his
just a-
life away. Just
Oh, yeah.
good stuff.
Blowing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite track is Give It All You Got, and only because I think my iPod got stuck on that and played it twice while I was mowing the lawns. But not a bad song. I like the last cut on the album, the bluesy song,
Far From Home.
Far From Home. It's kind of too Zeppelin-esque for me. But, it's not my least favorite. It's a good song, but I could do without that. I'd rather have another hard rocker on there. So, but
I loved it.
yeah, it's just a
I
good way to
love
close
that
an album out.
Bluesy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And fantastic. One thing that I was kind of reminded of when I was revisiting it is the thing I think that could have maybe been done a little different or whatever is there's really no backing vocals.
No,
It's all Dave.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think what song.
He might overdub himself on one.
there's a couple
Or-
where
there's a couple where you can hear
slapback
something.
echo or
Yeah.
something.
Hefta's got some backing vocal.
Yeah.
Something. One other song can't even think of it off the top of my head now. But if it had some like harmonies or something else maybe going on, and I could remember thinking that when I originally listened to it,
Mm-hmm.
like there's no backing vocals on this. It's
No,
just
it was
Dave.
like they went into a room and played it live, and
That's
how
what
they
it sounds like
recorded
to me, Frank. Yeah. They
know.
just all plugged in 1, 2,
Maybe
3,
so.
go.
Yeah,
And recorded the album.
and
Yeah.
that could have been a money issue in the studio.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I don't know that those songs would do any better with harmonies and backing vocals because there's so much.
It's so heavy.
Fast
so
Eddie Clark's
rippy.
doing so much with the guitars
Fast
and,
Eddie. Yeah.
and the drum fills and everything. So I think the raw sound of it is it's a good way to hear it.
It is. I agree.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that they had produced so many albums. I was telling you guys, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
I
different
didn't know
albums.
that. I just had the first two. Yeah. I didn't know they kept going.
Well, did you know that after All Fired Up, their second album, there was another album called Waiting for the Roar?
Did not know.
No.
I don't know if
I
it
mean, the
was
Trick or Treat thing came out in
the
'86.
soundtrack. Yeah, soundtrack
Still with Dave
came out.
King? Still with Dave King?
That's- I'm thinking because Trick or Treat came
Wow.
out in '86, and they were still using Dave King on that.
Yeah, it says Dave King lead vocal.
Son of a gun.
Wow.
And then
Good
in
stuff.
'88, they had an album called On Target. Never heard of it. '90, Bad Bad Girls. and then 2011 Dog Eat or Eat Dog Eat. It was an EP that came out, and I listened to a little bit of it on iTunes because it's a different. You knew it was a different vocalist, a little bit deeper singer, sounding singer and everything. I'm gonna give it a try, only because I liked Fast Eddie Clark so much.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that was. And
is Pete Way still in the later ones, guys?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You have to look it up, but
No, Pete jumped ship like right when that first album came out. Matter of fact, they don't even credit him on the album, so I'm not even sure he played on it.
Well, when did Wasted come out? Was that like 82?
Like shortly after that.
Oh, was after?
He left to go join Ozzy, and then he
that's right.
stayed with Ozzy for like about a couple of minutes, and then went on to do Wasted.
I've got the cassette of the debut of Wasted. That's all I've got. Back then, like I say, these guys were coming off with all these different projects and everything, and it wasn't like they were in 10 different bands. So when they did a thing, you say, "Oh, they're a new group. This is going to be here for a while."
Yes.
You buy an album, and then by the time the magazines hit the circuit, they're already broken up and onto something else.
Yeah. And I loved Wasted because, of course, I'm a big Pete Way fan.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I want to make mention before we move on. This is for the listeners. I have purposely made several mistakes during this podcast. What I expect our listeners to do in the comments section is correct me. Let's see how well you're listening and how well you're paying attention. I know the guys know, but do you, the listener? We'll find out. And the first comment will be, yeah, your first mistake was turning on the microphone, but we'll see. We'll go from there.
I like how he says purposely made. I love that. I love you guys. That's our Frank.
All right. Well, we've got Combat Rock coming up from The Clash, and we'll have some new music.
Jim will have a band with a male vocalist.
Oh, you don't do that.
Well,
because.
let's not overload you, Jim. Yeah.
I've already got them lined up.
Well, okay. In that case, then it'll be 12 out of 14. Okay.
Well, go out and check out the Dollyrots. Check out
it,
Green
Jim.
Gasoline and, of course, Shadow and the Thrill.
Shadow and the Thrill was good stuff.
Check that music out, folks.
Yes.
All right. Well, you got anything else to finish us off there with, Jerry?
Just keep rocking, folks out in Conspiracy Land. Thank you for all your support. Hit the like button. We're on all the social media. And thank you, Frank, for doing the poll. Let's see what the listeners want to do. Let's see what they want to review.
We'll try that again.
Folks out there in Conspiracy Land, thank you very much. We love you very much. Thank you. We love you. Thank you. Keep rocking.
Jim, you got anything for us?
Same thing. Hit the notification bell. Smash the like button. Share, subscribe. Thanks for all those who have been listening, who have been subscribed.
Thank you.
And tune in every 2 weeks to take a listen.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate your comments.
That's everything, folks.
I look forward to the comments.
Yeah.
I really
do. I love when people make comments, and I love when people comment that, like, hey, I went out and bought this after listening to the podcast, that they've gone out and bought some of the music that we featured.
You know what I like the best? I especially like when you say, I really liked Frank's pick the best. That makes me feel so good.
Keep doing it, folks. Frank needs buttering up.
Like you ever
than
needed
Jim
anybody to agree with you.
No.
Yeah. Help him, folks. Help him. Jim and I can deal with it. Frank can't.
I'm fragile.
Butter him up.
Fragile.
Yeah, he's fragile.
Not very.
Nice.
Tough as nails.
Fragile as a piece of sandpaper. Yeah. And just as gritty.
Just as gritty. You better believe it. All right, guys. Well, if you have nothing else, I guess the shop is closed.
Keep rocking, folks. Thank you.
Shop is closed. See you in 2 weeks.
All right.